Coach Wagner, it's your student Tyler Puglisi, and I'm sending you a video about a concept I learned earlier today that I hope entertains you. I hope you're well. I hope your wife and Willa are also well, and I'm about to try to explain technical debt to you. So technical debt is a term that arose in the software world when trying to describe the excess complications in changing anything. So if you have a process and you change it, there's going to be some leftover remainder of what the process was, whether it's structural, user-based, or revenue. So it's this term called technical debt, and what it is normally defined now as is the difference between what was promised and what was delivered. Okay? We're going to use it in a bit different context here, more in terms of almost opportunity cost or a deadweight loss function, a bad part of the graph, which is how I think of it in economic terms, but we'll get to that. So say you have an organization like ours, and this organization has a relationship between its growth. As it grows, the entire company in size, scale, and revenue, and its complexity. As a organization grows, it adds new things. Process, house, legal, HR, terms and conditions, blah, 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 all of these things. And say, as it's growing, you notice that there's a better way to do this process, and you'd like to implement it, or you have to change some things, or something occurs that makes a process better off if you change it, ideally. So say it's a database, and say you have a group of records and you decide that you want to add credit card information to them. You have their pay stubs, you have some sort of information you'd like to add, sale records, what have you. So we have 10,000 records currently, and every time period T, we add an additional 250 records. So this problem is always going to get bigger until you wait. So I've worked on a bunch of these problems, fixing internal systems that we have, changing things up, trying to find a better way to do things. And when you're in that situation, it's hard to think like, when is it not going to be a large problem? So I brought this up to one of our senior members, and he explained it to me like this. Say you have a process and you have an implementation, and you say, hey, I'm going to fix this problem. I'm going to make it better moving forward. We're going to change the way that we do records. It's going to be way better. Everyone's going to love it. So that may be true, but you're going to have this 10,000, right, that you're trying to fix. So some companies try and go through some of this while they're still changing this, improvements. It's not fixed yet, blah, 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 and you end up trying to fix these things a bunch of times, and it's never done. So he explained it to me as, is you fix the problem, right? So boom, fixing the problem here. You fix the problem, you have much less complexity, you're still increasing your growth and complexity, but maybe this changes a bunch of things for you, right? This little drop here, because this isn't time, right? It's your complexity growth ratio. This is the entire fix that it will take. So it's the design, proof of concept, implementation, change management, everything that goes along with it. So we sort of bring this back a bit, and we say, hey, all this stuff is your 10,000 records. It's now your fixed problem. This area here, well, that's all the complexity we just saved by making this change. So this is always going to be bigger than your fix, although it's hard to think of it because you're here, and the problem is just as big here as it is here or here. But you don't see the savings that you have for each 250 additional records. So the idea is, if you fix the problem, this 10,000, or say it takes you 2 time periods, so you have, 10,500, never changes. Once you fix the problem is stable and it's working, this stays compact. It doesn't feel compact, but you have this strong fixed cost, right? It's no longer a variable cost that might keep growing, it's fixed. So then the idea is that as you grow and your resources you get more resources because your growth increases. You have more people, you have more time. This diminishes per your growth. So this then becomes a function of your growth, and it also doesn't seem as big because you're a larger company and you can deal with this. So the idea is to fix the problem as soon as possible. And then once the new process is stable, you go back and reduce this until it's nothing. That is the notion of technical debt. That's why it's hard to change things. That's why people get in a lot of arguments. That's why young analysts have to do a lot of manual work, because they're the ones that end up doing it before they understand such highbrow concepts as technical debt. But I thought you might enjoy that, appreciate it. You can check it out online. It's been good to talk at you. Hope you are doing really well. I'm having a fine time out here in San Francisco. It's good to talk at you. Hope you're well. We'll see you again sometime.